Hey guys, good evening. I think I should be audible to everyone. Let me just do a quick check. Okay, so good evening, guys. Welcome to RC number 5, the fifth episode of RCs at 6 p.m. series, physical isolation versus bachelor selection. This RC was asked in your, I think, let me just, yeah, I think we're all set to go now. This was asked in your CAT exam of, I think, 17 or 18, probably. A short one, quite a short RC, in fact, just 299 words and 3 questions. तीन ही सवाल थे इसमें, बहुत ही छोटा सा RC था, with only just 299 words, right? As you can see here. Okay. And hence I would expect anyone who's reasonably well prepared for CAT, अगर थोड़ा सा भी आपका preparation ठीक है, तो you should be able to solve this RC or this kind of an RC within a period of 8. I think ideally तो आपका ये 6 to 7 minutes में हो जाना चाहिए. आपका 6 minutes के 6 minutes के अंदर आपका RC आराम से solve हो सकता है reading के साथ. But let's say you're still in the process of developing your skills. You can in that case take around 8 minutes to solve this RC. Okay. Chalo, with that discussion out of the way, let's now start with the. So see, the way we'll go about the session is quite straightforward. We'll start. We'll do a very brief passage overview, जहाँ पे मैं आपको passage के अंदर के हर एक paragraph की एक short में summary बता दूँगा. So I've also gotten the summary written down with the paragraphs. At the same time, I'll also explain the summary to you in English as well as Hindi. Okay, and then we'll move on to the solution of the questions. There are 3 questions to be solved. We'll spend some time, reasonable amount of time there, and I'll take you through some, via the questions, I'll be taking you through some frameworks of assessing the question, assessing the options, eliminating options, selecting options, etc. And finally, we'll the last 15 minutes will be dedicated to any kind of query redressal that might be required from your end. Okay, so let's start with so the passage, guys, was I think yeah, pretty short actually, just 300 words. सिर्फ 300 words का आपका passage आप देख रहे हो यहाँ पे कितना 3 paragraphs हैं basically, और कुछ नहीं है इसमें. And if we go paragraph by paragraph, the first paragraph, okay. So if I try to convey the gist of the passage in, let's say, the least, in the shortest way possible, I would probably say that there's a certain scientist at some point of time posited a certain point of view with respect to the causes of diversity within species as being natural isolation and something. And then in the later years, there were a couple of other scientists who came up with a paper which, based on a study that they conducted, which disproved, or which basically said that which disproved the causal factors that the first scientists had talked about, right? तो वो था बस इतना सा ही है. पूरा आज से आपका सिर्फ इस चीज के बारे में कि भाई पहले एक साइंटिस्ट था जिसने एक पर्टिकुलर इफेक्ट के लिए ये कॉज को नोट किया था कि हाँ इस इफेक्ट के लिए ये कॉज होता है, और उसके बाद फिर कुछ साइंटिस्ट बाद में आए जिन्होंने एक एक्सपेरिमेंट किया चेक स्पॉट बटरफ्लाइज के ऊपर, एंड दे फिगर आउट कि ओके नो, द फैक्टर दैट द फर्स्ट कॉज दैट द साइंटिस्ट वाज टॉकिंग अबाउट was not as important as maybe a couple of other causes. Okay, that's your passage. That's essentially what your passage is. अब यहाँ पे what is that effect that is being discussed, that effect, उसका डिटेल यहाँ पे आपको पैराग्राफ में दिया होगा. What is the cause and who was the scientist जिसने वो पहले दिया था, और उसके बाद who the next couple of scientists who talked about, who said that कि और दूसरा कोई cause involved है. ठीक है, ये सारे आपके डिटेल्स है, but the structure of the paragraph and just is more or less this. Okay, so let's now go paragraph by paragraph. Let's look at the first paragraph here. It says, मैं आपका पूरा line by line नहीं पढ़ रहा यहाँ पे, and I'll read the summary that I've gotten for you for this paragraph, and then I'll explain to you briefly कि paragraph में क्या बोला गया है. ठीक है? The author notes wide acceptance of the diversity within a species phenomena, and drawing on EM's point of view. EM is this guy named as Ernst Mayr. Drawing on Ernst Mayer's point of view, points out the priorly accepted cause of isolation behind. Right. So author ne the author has noted a certain phenomena here. Okay. The phenomena, namely, is that of the diversity within a species. Right. So I'm going to write it as diversity within a species. Okay. तो इसको हम लोग ऐसे लिख देते हैं. So he has noted कि एक भाई ये phenomena तो है, which is anyways long recognized by scientists all over the world. And Ernst Mayr wrote, who was a great evolutionary biologist. He came up with the hypothesis that कि यार ये जो phenomena है, the main cause behind this phenomena relates with physical isolation. Physical isolation is and gene flow, and physical isolation and gene flow, or the lack of gene flow. Okay, physical isolation and the lack of gene flow is the primary cause behind this phenomena. That's what he means to say. अगर आप इसको अब देख मैंने आपको just बताया, अब एक बार ये पैराग्राफ पढ़ लीजिए. देखिए. So it says scientists have long recognized the incredible diversity within a species. So that is the phenomena, incredible diversity within a species. कि भाई वो तो already है ही. But they thought it reflected evolutionary changes that unfolded imperceptibly over the years. पर उनको लगता था कि ये जो diversity है बहुत सालों में evolutionary changes की वजह से उसकी वजह से आ रहा है. That divergence between populations within a species was enforced, but and according to Ernst Mayr, so this is the first scientist, he says that divergence between the populations within a species, तो एक ही species के अंदर जो divergence आपका आ रहा है, that was enforced according to this person when a population was separated from the rest of the species by a mountain range or a desert, preventing breeding across the divide over geologic scales of time. Without the separation, gene flow was relentless, but as the separation persisted, the isolated population grew apart, and speciation occurred. Speciation basically means when the same species takes two different when two groups from the same species take different evolutionary paths. Okay, so it's very simple. So let's say you have a group of एक आपका species का पूरा group है. And let's say this is a group of maybe elephants. Okay, you have there's a large group of elephants which while migrating from one place to another got separated. वो एक जगह से दूसरी जगह migrate कर रहे थे, तो ये separate होके अलग-अलग जगह पहुंच गए. The first group reached somewhere here, and the second group reached somewhere else. Right? So let's say this becomes the group E1, this becomes the group E2. Then according to Ernst Mayr, given that these and then these, let's say these groups are separated by a mountain range or something. Okay, they are separated by a mountain range or something, and hence according to Ernst Mayr, the evolutionary biologist, so उसके हिसाब से ये है कि भाई up until they were together, they had the same characteristics, they were spatially the same, they were the same species. There was no difference between there was not a lot of heterogeneity there, right? There was no diversity within the species up until they were together. But जब वो काफी अलग-अलग ऐसे बिछड़ गए, दो ग्रुप आपके अलग-अलग हो गए, उसके बाद and then when this distance or this divide due to the some physical factors like mountain or something, geographic divide, when this persisted for over a long period of time, जब ये काफी लंबे समय तक ये चला, then speciation occurred. Like this group took a different evolutionary path, maybe this became a different kind of elephants, और ये कुछ अलग तरह के elephants बन गए. ठीक है? That's your point of view of Ernst Mayr. ये Ernst Mayr का point of view. ठीक है? चलो आगे चलते हैं. Let's go to the next paragraph. Next paragraph में the author has cited a different study here by P and PR are maybe again two other scientists. He says that a study by these two people, Paul Ehrlich, P is for Paul Ehrlich and PR is for some other guy, क्या है, his colleague Peter Raven. A study by these two people is discussed that demonstrates speciation without isolation. So in the first paragraph, the author said that कि Ernst Mayr के हिसाब से the speciation, this diversity within the same species occurred because of isolation, right? Because of isolation. Here in this paragraph, he has demonstrated that there were two more scientists who came up within the mid 1960s, demonstrated that this speciation can occur within the species even without isolation. Isolation के बिना भी एक ही ग्रुप में से आपके अलग अलग दो अलग अलग स्पीशीज आ सकते हैं, ठीक है, and thus negates it as the prime cause of the phenomena. And thus these two scientists, they negate isolation, natural isolation, as physical isolation, sorry, as the prime cause of the phenomena. तो उनके हिसाब से ये हो गया कि नहीं यार, ये इनका जो speciation का जो prime cause है वो isolation नहीं है, because उसके बिना भी होता है. Got it? So that's the essence of the second paragraph. Now if you read the second paragraph, read करो तो देखो वापस आपको clear हो जाएगा. In the mid 1960s, the biologist, this guy who was also the author of this book, and his colleague from this place, see, you ought to realize that whenever you're reading a paragraph, what are you looking for? You're not looking for descriptive details, right? For example, abhi yahan pe mid, like it is especially for passages for good exams like CAT and ZAT. They will not ask you कि ये mid 1960s में बोला गया था या फिर ये mid 1970s में बोला गया था, or they will not ask you कि whether this guy was from Stanford University or maybe Harvard University. So right, so these descriptive details are things that you can save your attention from. अब वहां पे थोड़ा सा अपना ध्यान बचा के दूसरी जगह डाल सकते हैं. You get some speed in these cases, right? So in this biologist named some person author of some book, and उसका कोई colleague था. You see, so when I'm reading this in an informal manner, I'm not just reading it to explain the paragraph. I'm also reading it to describe to you the kind of attention you're supposed to pay to various parts of the paragraph. कहाँ पे आप उसको चीजों को जाने दे सकते हैं, कहाँ पे आपको ज्यादा ध्यान देना है. Okay, so basically this guy and some colleague of his, they challenged Ernst Mayer's ideas of speciation. उसको challenge किया. इन लोगों ने they had studied checker spot butterflies, कुछ तो butterfly study कर रहे थे, living near the Jasper Ridge biological preserve in California. कोई तो अगेन कोई जगह है, रिज है कोई, वहां पे वो लोग उसको butterflies को study कर रहे थे. And it soon became clear that they were not examining a single population, right? So and through years of capturing marking and then recapturing the butterflies, basically काफी सारा काम करके, they were able to prove that within the population spread over just 50 acres of suitable checker spot habitation, right? So what they are saying is कि this was a population जहाँ पे like which was uniformly, यहाँ पे कोई physical isolation वाले barriers नहीं है. There are no physical isolation barriers present here. Okay, these are like every butterfly is capable of going from one place to another. Okay, कोई भी कहीं से भी कहीं भी जा सकता है, right? There's no isolation like in case of the example of elephants that we took here. So he says they had through years of doing all of this work, they were able to prove that within this population, ये पूरे population के अंदर spread over 50 acres of suitable checker spot habitat, 50 acres जो जगह होगा, there were 3 groups that rarely interacted despite their very close proximity. Okay, so they said that कि यहाँ पे 3 groups निकल के आए which rarely interacted despite their proximity with each other. Okay, now according to Ernst Mayr, ये जो आपका ये जो डिफरेंस आया यहाँ पे जो स्पीसिएशन हो गया, like so this is like so they basically observed diversity within the species without any isolation, correct? जबकि अर्न्स्ट मेयर के हिसाब से आइसोलेशन होने के बाद डाइवर्सिटी आता है, इनके हिसाब से इन्होंने ये ऑब्जर्व किया कि भाई आइसोलेशन की जरूरत नहीं है. Okay, so this is how they have, this is in this paragraph the author brings in the point of view of these two scientists and their study and shows that okay, that this study probably negates isolation as the prime cause of the phenomena of speciation. Okay, ठीक है, आगे चलते हैं. Part 3 में क्या हुआ भाई? Part 3 में the paper written by these two people, P and PR, Paul Enrich and Peter Egan, has been talked about in detail. उस पेपर में कुछ 2-3 पॉइंट्स हैं, उनको अच्छे से थोड़ा सा डिटेल में ऑथर ने नोट किया है. दैट्स इट. क्या क्या चीजें नोट की है? पहली चीज जो ऑथर ने नोट की है कि ओके, first of all, in their paper, these people said that gene flow is not predictable and prevalent as was noted by EM, the first guy. The first guy noted कि नहीं, gene flow तो काफी prevalent है, ubiquitous है, होता है. Ubiquitous means कि like it keeps happening, like there's no dearth of it, there's no lack of it, जहाँ देखो होता रहता है, right? Gene flow. So but according to these people, इनके पेपर के हिसाब से, इनकी स्टडी के हिसाब से है कि नहीं, जीन फ्लो इज नॉट दैट प्रेडिक्टेबल और एंड प्रेवलेंट. पहला चीज तो ये. दूसरा, as Mayer had claimed. Second, that evolutionary divergence is common without isolation. कि isolation के बिना भी आपका evolutionary divergence हो जाता है. That's the second point. And the third point, that for evolutionary divergence, natural selection was a more important factor than isolation or than physical isolation or gene flow. Okay, so basically, like आपका जो पूरा तथ्य है इसमें, या like the whole central point of the passage, like of this paragraph, is that well, gene flow is predictable and prevalent as opposed to what Ernst Mayr thought, and speciation or evolutionary divergence do not depend so much on isolation as much as they do on natural selection. That's it. Okay. So and now you can see how the whole passage has simply been about noting a particular phenomena and discussing how a particular scientist thought a certain cause to be the cause of the phenomena, and उसके बाद फिर कोई और साइंटिस्ट है, उन्होंने बोला कि नहीं वो cause नहीं है, ये cause. ठीक है, and that is based on the example. Okay. तो देखिए, ये आपका सेंट्रल आइडिया मैंने यहाँ पे सारे पैराग्राफ के पैरासमरी यहाँ डाले. उसका सेंट्रल आइडिया अगर हमें देखना है तो it will be this. Paul Ehrlich and Peter Raven's study has shown natural selection to be a more prominent cause behind speciation within a species than physical isolation or gene flow, as noted by Ernst Mayr. That's the long and short of. Okay, that's the gist of all of this. Okay. Let's come to now the questions. Question number 1 जो आपका है यहाँ पे, which of the following best sums up Ehrlich and Raven's argument in their classic 1969 paper? हमने Ehrlich and Raven के argument का हमने पूरा summary यहाँ पे दिया हुआ है उनके, like if you recall, like 3 points have been noted in their argument, correct? Gene flow predictable नहीं है, ऐसा है, evolution divergence is common without isolation, and most important point of the argument was that natural selection is more important factor for speciation than isolation or gene flow, correct? So in light of that, let's look at the options. Ernst Mayr was wrong in identifying physical separation as the cause of species diversity. Okay, there are 2 problems with this option. First of all, these people like Ehrlich and Raven, like PE and PM, they did not completely eliminate physical isolation as the cause. They simply said that it was not a prime cause. तो पहला प्रॉब्लम तो ये हो गया इस ऑप्शन के साथ. It's like this option has taken it to the extreme, that according to these people, he was totally wrong about identifying physical separation as the cause of species diversity. They have not said that he was completely wrong. They said कि okay, it was not the, it is according to them वो prime cause नहीं है, secondary cause, tertiary cause हो सकता है. ठीक है. So that's the first problem, and that's the first problem. That's a distortion here. Second problem, let's suppose आपने ये distortion को अगर correct कर दिया, मान लिया कि नहीं आपने ये sentence option को change करके आप लिख दो कि नहीं, Ernst Mayr was partially wrong, was wrong in identifying physical separation as the prime cause. Okay, prime cause लिख दिया तो फिर बोलोगे आप कि हाँ सर तो अब तो ठीक हो गया क्या? अब बोलूंगा नहीं, अभी भी ठीक नहीं हुआ. क्यों भाई? Maybe yes, they did eventually prove that Ernst Mayr was wrong in identifying physical separation as the prime cause of species diversity. But was that, like, is that what their paper was all about? उन्होंने पूरा पेपर सिर्फ Ernst Mayr को गलत प्रूव करने के लिए तो नहीं लिखा था ना. It is just that as a result of having published that paper or conducted that study, उसका एक बाई प्रोडक्ट आपका निकल के आया कि ठीक है, now they have found that Ernst Mayer's theory was wrong. The essence of the paper cannot be summed up by saying कि okay, their paper was not about disproving Ernst Mayer's theory. The paper was still about trying to figure out like what are the causes of speciation, what could be the causes of speciation, right? So even if you correct for the error of distortion, this will still become a what do you say, TBNR case. Okay, so that's why you eliminate this. So multiple objections we have with these options. You eliminate this with a capital E. Checker spot butterflies in the 50-acre Jasper Ridge Preserve formed 3 groups that rarely interacted with each other. Now that's correct. That's absolutely on point with respect to the information given in the passage. दिया हुआ है ऐसा. But now see, but just because the option says something that is true as per the passage doesn't necessarily mean that the option is correct, because the option has to maintain two relationships. The first is the relationship with the passage and second is the relationship with the question stem. पैसेज के हिसाब से तो सब कुछ सही है, यहाँ क्वेश्चन स्टेम के हिसाब से मैच नहीं हो रहा, बिकॉज सी the checker spot butterflies का जो पूरा एग्जाम्पल है, like it is the study that is being conducted to try and come up with a certain hypothesis or a theory, and that hypothesis or theory is something that will relate to the gist of their argument or to the overall what do you say, central idea of what they are trying to say. Okay, so ये तो आपका एक्सपेरिमेंट है. द एक्सपेरिमेंट जिस चीज के लिए किया जा रहा है, that idea is more central to the theory. It's more central, right, than the experiment itself. Experiment is just the means to get to the end. Okay, so as much as this is correct, it will still be eliminated with a capital E, and this kind of error, the kind of error that this option seems to have committed is TBNR, which means true but not relevant. Okay, आगे चलते हैं. While a factor, isolation was not as important to speciation as natural selection. Yes, that matches absolutely with the point that is made in these two people's paper or study, right? ये capital S से आपका select होगा. Gene flow is less common and more erratic than Mayer and his colleagues claimed. Is less common and more erratic. Again, this is also a case of TBNR. Because ये चीज भी आपका पैसेज के हिसाब से सही है, दी हुई है पैसेज में, but is that what best sums up their argument from the paper? Like is that all that they wanted to say? मेन चीज जो ये कहना चाह रहे थे वो it was more about the cause of the phenomena of speciation within species, right? Not about कि gene flow less common है ये. It's just one of the points that they have made along with the main point that they wanted to make by the study. So you eliminate this also with a capital E and while labeling this option as a TBNR. Okay, आगे चलते हैं हम लोग. Let's go to the next question now. According to the all of the following statements are true according to the passage, except what? That means this is a triple TF scenario. This is an inversion scenario. Inversion scenario का मतलब क्या होता है? Generally आप जो correct statement होता है passage के हिसाब से उसको सही आंसर मानते हैं. Generally, okay. But in this case, the incorrect option will be the statement which is incorrect as per the passage will be the answer, because except है आपका यहाँ पे, है ना? तो इसलिए आपको false statement select करना है answer. Gene flow contributes to evolutionary divergence. Gene flow contributes to. So the author has negated, the author in the by citing the papers of Paul Eldridge and Peter Revin has said that gene flow is erratic and unpredictable as opposed to what Ernst Mayr thought, and probably is not the primary reason for speciation within a species or for diversity within the species. तो primary reason नहीं है ये बोला है, रीजन ही नहीं है, कॉज ही नहीं है ये नहीं बोला. He doesn't say that it does not contribute. So contributes to evolutionary divergence seems to be in line with the passage. Okay, because the author does not eliminate its complete contribution. It simply says it is not a primary contributor. Max आप वो बोल सकते. So hence this is true as per the passage and hence eliminated with the capital E. Okay. Next, the population bomb question dominant ideas about species diversity. इसी तरीके से डिस्टॉर्शन किया जाता है पूरे आरसी में. अगर आप एरर्स ऑफ डिस्टॉर्शन को पकड़ना सीख जाए, ठीक है, तो आप देखो सबसे पहला स्टेप होता है ना पैसेज, when a student is at the very initial level of developing RC solving skills, पहले टाइप के एरर जो आपको खोजने को आते हैं वो होते हैं EOF, factual errors. फिर जब वो थोड़ा सा और ज्यादा प्रैक्टिस करके स्किल्स थोड़ी बढ़ती है, देन द स्टूडेंट स्टार्ट्स रियलाइजिंग कि यानी EOI भी सीखने लगता है, वो EOI को एलिमिनेट करना भी सीख जाता है. फिर थोड़ा सा और ज्यादा बेटर होता है तो बाद में penultimate stages when the student realizes how to eliminate errors of distortion and TBNRs. And the final state, the most likely the जहाँ पे आप बोल सकते हो कि नहीं ठीक है अभी हमें RC solve करने आ गया है, is the stage when you are able to eliminate when you are able to understand the idea that often none of the options will be absolutely correct, and you have to select the lesser of the lesser of the four evils. Okay, and which one is committing a gross error and which one is less objectionable, उसके हिसाब से आप आंसर मार्क करोगे. जब आप वो सीख जाते हैं तो आप समझ जाइए, और ये सारी चीजें आप कम टाइम में करने लग जा रहे हो, मतलब आप समझ सकते हैं कि ठीक है, नहीं आपका नाउ योर आरसी सॉल्विंग स्किल्स आर इन लाइन एंड यू विल गेट गुड स्कोर्स इन कैट. गॉट इट? सो ये दिस इज द डेवलपमेंट प्रोसेस. एनीहाउ चलो लेट्स कम टू पॉपुलेशन. तो यहाँ पे अब देखो, यहाँ पे पॉपुलेशन बॉम्ब क्वेश्चन डोमिनेंट आइडियाज अबाउट स्पीशीज डाइवर्सिटी नहीं है. इट इज द ऑथर, the biologist Paul Ehrlich and his Stanford University colleague Peter Rabin. These are the people who questioned dominant ideas behind speciation, behind the causes of speciation. अब इन्होंने इनकी किताब में, पॉल एलरिच ने इस किताब के अंदर क्वेश्चन किया गया था, ऐसा नहीं है. See, this is the parenthetical element. Parenthetical element simply provides you extra information. The information might not be directly related to the argument being made. It will be related to the person or to the subject that just precedes the parenthetical statement. तो ये पॉल एलरिच का इंट्रोडक्शन दिया जा रहा है यहाँ पे ये नहीं कहा जा रहा कि पॉल एलरिच ने ये पॉपुलेशन बॉम्ब करके जो किताब है उसी में ये आर्ग्यूमेंट रखी है. ठीक है, so this is just the introduction of this author. Okay, so we cannot assume that. So this is an error of distortion. Eliminated the capital. Distortion slash assumption. Because many students might have simply assumed कि अच्छा हाँ उसी बुक का नाम लिखा था, उस बुक में ही बोला होगा. Evolutionary changes unfold imperceptibly over time. ये तो आपको पैसेज में दिया. अच्छा सॉरी माय बैड. ये आपका, आप इसको एलिमिनेट नहीं करेंगे. वी आर गोना सिलेक्ट द फॉल्स स्टेटमेंट ना. तो फॉल्स स्टेटमेंट को आपको एलिमिनेट नहीं करना है, फॉल्स स्टेटमेंट को हमें सिलेक्ट करना है. सी, so and hence you will select this with a capital S because you know that this is false. ये distortion किया गया यहाँ पे. ठीक है, next one, evolutionary changes unfold imperceptibly over time. This is given in the starting part of the passage, right? Changes that unfold imperceptibly over millions of years. तो ये आपको दिया हुआ है. So you and hence true as per the passage and eliminated with the capital E. ठीक है, capital E से eliminate हो जाएगा. Checker spot butterflies are known to exhibit speciation while living in close proximity. Yes, this is also given in the second paragraph. So ये भी आपका true है और ये भी आपका capital E से eliminate हो जाएगा. Correct answer here will thus be option 2. Question number 3 पे आते हैं. Final question of the passage. The author discusses Mayer, Ehrlich and Raven to demonstrate what? Author ने ये तीनों scientists की बात किस लिए की है, किस कारणवश की है? Okay, the first option says evolution is a sensitive and controversial topic. Okay, now there is nothing in the passage that shows that the author considers evolution to be a sensitive topic. By a topic being one where there is not a lot of agreement does not necessarily mean that it is sensitive. Sensitive topic का मतलब आपका ये होता है कि okay, like if you comment on that topic or if you have a discussion on that topic, you are very likely to hurt probably the sentiments of certain groups of or certain people. Okay, that's what a sensitive topic is. कि okay, नहीं यार उससे थोड़ा दूर रहो, मतलब उसमें लोगों को बहुत जल्दी खराब लग सकता है, और it might just hurt the sentiments of people. That is a sensitive topic. A debatable topic or a topic where there is a lot of disagreement is not necessarily a sensitive topic, and neither is a topic where जहाँ पे बहुत डिसएग्रीमेंट है वो कंट्रोवर्शियल हो, वो भी जरूरी नहीं है. हो सकता है there's a topic जहाँ पे ठीक है काफी लोगों का डिसएग्रीमेंट है, कुछ लोग ये मानते हैं कुछ लोग ये मानते हैं, पर जरूरी नहीं कि उसके ऊपर कंट्रोवर्सी हुई. ठीक है, so these are like clear distortions and eliminated with the capital E. Next, Ehrlich and Raven's ideas about evolutionary divergence are widely accepted by scientists. Okay, so now Ehrlich and Raven's ideas seem to be contradicting, contradict Ernst Mayer's ideas. That's given there. And logically enough, because study भी आपको दी गई है, तो हाँ logically लग रहा है कि नहीं Ernst Mayer के ideas के against ये सही बोल रहे हैं और सही बोल रहे हैं. But जो चीज नहीं दी गई है passage में ना, वो ये है that these are ideas which are widely accepted by scientists. The author, in fact, might have tacitly shown his own acceptance, his or her own acceptance of these ideas, because उसी नोट पे खत्म किया है passage. But that doesn't necessarily mean that it has been widely accepted, that the idea has been widely accepted by scientists. कहीं दिया नहीं है, हम लोग assume नहीं कर सकते. So that this will be a very clear error of assumption and inclusion. Okay, eliminated with a capital E. The causes of speciation are debated by scientists. The causes of speciation are debated by scientists. Yes, that's, I think that comes very close to what the author has done here. He has talked about a cause of speciation as pointed out by Mayer. Then he has talked about the causes of speciation as talked about by Eldridge and Raven. So yeah, that seems all right. Smallest mark करके आगे चलेंगे. Like why smallest, why not capitalist? Because, well, if there is an option that is accurate and at the same time even more descriptive, जो author detail में बताता है, then we'll go for that. ठीक है, तो इसलिए smallest. Checker spot butterflies offer the best example for Eldridge and Raven's ideas about speciation. No. Checkers, these two guys, they studied the checker spot butterflies' habitat and their behavior over some period of time to come to derive their hypothesis or to prove their hypothesis, to substantiate their hypothesis. But उसमें से हम ये नहीं कह सकते कि भाई इसी में best example मिल रहा है. Like unless it is mentioned in the passage, and it is not mentioned in the passage anywhere, that they offer the best example. We don't know. All we know is that these scientists studied that particular species, or let's say 3 of them, to demonstrate the validity of their hypothesis. Okay, or to figure out the causes of diversity in a species. We don't know if this is the best example. अच्छा, और पैसेज में भी अगर लिखा होता कि बेस्ट एग्जांपल तो हम लोग मान लेते, पर पैसेज में भी लिखा नहीं है. ठीक है, तो eliminated with the capital E and error of assumption हो जाएगा आपका. Okay, all right, that's about it. The correct answer here will thus be option 3. Okay, यहाँ पे 3 है, इसके पहले वाले क्वेश्चन में आपका 2 था, उसके पहले वाले क्वेश्चन में it was again 3. Okay. So that's about it, guys. With that, again, we're done with today's session. काफी जल्दी हो गया, but in case there are any doubts or queries, you can let me know. And the link to join the Telegram group for Sluggers should be available in the description of the video. Okay, and the link to attempt RCs will वो आपको अगर आप will be available at 8 p.m. today on the web page of Sluggers. Sluggers का web page का link आपको वापस से web page link of Sluggers will also be available in the description of the YouTube video. Okay, so you can go to the web page, you can enroll in this course. There's a free course, by the way. RC at 6 p.m. is a free course, so you can वहाँ पे आप इसमें enroll कर सकते हैं, and yeah, and you can like solve these RCs on a daily basis. Okay. And we can discuss your doubts, right? So yeah, of course, daily at 6 p.m. We will try to do this 5 days a week. हम लोग इसको 5 days a week करने की कोशिश करेंगे. कल का आपका मिस हो गया था due to some technical glitches, but we'll try to be consistent with this. Okay, that's it. If you have any questions or queries, you can always put them in the comments. I'll try to address them जब भी मौका मिला. ठीक है, that's about it, guys. I'll see you in tomorrow's session. Thank you.